My dad grew up on the street, and he could read people very good. Half jokingly, he would used to say to me, "Don't trust anybody."
Steve McQueen captivated audiences with his charisma and talent. But behind the scenes, whispers and rumors hinted at a more complex story. So what was the real story behind the man, the myth, the legend? Recently, Steve McQueen's son has revealed the truth about his father. If you're curious, this video is for you. Terrence Stephen McQueen, known as Steve McQueen, had a tumultuous early life filled with challenges and adversity. Of Scottish descent, McQueen was raised in the Roman Catholic faith. Despite his future success, his beginnings were far from glamorous. Steve McQueen's parents never married, and his father, William McQueen, was a stunt pilot for a barnstorming flying circus. William left Julia Ann only 6 months after they met, a departure that profoundly impacted young Steve's life. Julia Ann Crawford, according to several biographers, struggled with alcoholism, which made it difficult for her to care for her young child. Consequently, in 1933, when Steve was just 3 years old, she made the heartbreaking decision to leave him in the care of her parents, Victor and Lillian Crawford, in Slater, Missouri. This decision came during the Great Depression, a time when many families across the United States were facing severe hardships. The challenges of his early life would shape the man he would become and fuel the drive behind his legendary career. Steve McQueen's early childhood was marked by the instability of his family situation. He and his grandparents moved in with Lillian's brother, Claude, and his family on their farm in Slater. Despite the challenging circumstances, McQueen often spoke fondly of his time on the farm. He had great respect for his great-uncle, Claude, describing him as a strong, fair, and kind man. It was on this farm that young Steve McQueen began to learn important life lessons that would shape his future. One such moment occurred on his 4th birthday, when his great-uncle Claude gave him a red tricycle as a gift. Little did they know that this seemingly simple present would ignite Steve's lifelong passion for car racing, setting the stage for his later achievements. As he grew older, McQueen's family situation underwent some changes. His mother eventually married, and when Steve was 8 years old, she decided to bring him back from the farm to live with her and her new husband in Indianapolis. This transition marked a pivotal point in young Steve's life. Before departing from the farm, Steve's great-uncle Claude gave him a deeply sentimental parting gift, a gold pocket watch with a touching inscription inside the case. The inscription read, "To Steve, who has been a son to me." This heartfelt gesture highlighted the strong bond that had developed between Steve and his great-uncle Claude during his time on the farm. However, Steve McQueen's challenges were far from over. He faced significant obstacles in school due to his dyslexia and partial deafness caused by a childhood ear infection. These learning and hearing difficulties made it difficult for him to adjust to his new life in Indianapolis. Tragically, Steve's stepfather subjected him to physical abuse, leaving a lasting impact on the young boy. At the tender age of 9, Stevie felt compelled to escape the abusive environment at home and took to the streets. His experiences at home and the absence of love and support from his parents deeply affected his self-esteem. He once confided that when a kid doesn't have any love when he's small, he begins to wonder if he's good enough. "My mother didn't love me, and I didn't have a father. I thought, well, I must not be very good." Steve's time on the streets led him to associate with a street gang and engage in acts of petty crime. It became increasingly evident that he was spiraling out of control, and his mother was faced with a difficult decision. Recognizing that she couldn't manage his behavior, she decided to send him back to her grandparents and great-uncle in Slater, Missouri. When he was just 12 years old, his mother, Julia, reached out to her Uncle Claude once again, requesting that her son be returned to her in Los Angeles, California, where she now resided with her second husband. This move marked yet another significant transition in McQueen's life. However, McQueen's relationship with his new stepfather proved to be anything but harmonious. He and his stepfather clashed from the very beginning. McQueen described his stepfather as a prime son of a bitch who had no qualms about resorting to physical violence against both McQueen and his mother. The household became a hostile and abusive environment for the young boy. As McQueen's rebellious tendencies resurfaced in response to the difficult circumstances at home, he was once again sent back to live with his great-uncle Claude. At this point, he was around 14 years old and struggling to find his place in the world. However, McQueen's restlessness and desire for independence led him to make a daring decision. At the age of 14, without saying goodbye to his great-uncle Claude, he left the farm and joined a circus for a brief period. This marked the beginning of a period of drifting and searching for identity and purpose. Eventually, McQueen found himself back in Los Angeles reuniting with his mother and stepfather. Regrettably, he fell back into his old habits of gang membership and petty criminal activities. His troubled path led him to commit theft, including stealing hubcaps. His criminal activities caught the attention of the police, and he was apprehended. However, instead of facing the justice system, McQueen was handed over to his abusive stepfather, who responded with extreme brutality. The beating he received was severe, and his stepfather even threw him down a flight of stairs. In a moment of defiance and desperation, McQueen looked up at his stepfather and uttered a threatening threat, saying, "You lay your stinking hands on me again, and I swear I'll kill you." The turning point in Steve McQueen's troubled early life came after the traumatic incident with his abusive stepfather. His stepfather convinced Julia, McQueen's mother, to sign a court order declaring McQueen as incorrigible, leading to his remand to the California Junior Boys Republic in Chino. This was a critical juncture in McQueen's life, as it marked the beginning of his transformation and maturation. Upon his arrival at the Boys Republic, McQueen initially struggled to fit in and gain acceptance among his peers. The environment was challenging, and he had to prove himself to both the staff and the other boys. There was a sense of camaraderie among the boys, but also a strict code of behavior that everyone had to follow. For instance, the boys had a monthly opportunity to go into town to watch a movie as a reward for good behavior. However, if one boy failed to complete his assigned tasks or disrupted the harmony within their living quarters, referred to as a bungalow, it affected everyone's chance to enjoy the outing. McQueen explained this dynamic by saying, "Say the boys had a chance once a month to load onto a bus and go into town to see a movie, and they lost out because one guy in the bungalow didn't get his work done right. Well, you can pretty well guess they're going to have something to say about that." McQueen's experience at the Boys Republic was not without its challenges. He acknowledged that he had to face consequences for his actions and endured his fair share of difficulties. He mentioned, "I paid my dues with the other fellows quite a few times. I got my lumps, no doubt about it." The other boys in the bungalow had their own ways of enforcing discipline and ensuring that everyone contributed to the well-being of the group. After his transformative experience at the California Junior Boys Republic, Steve McQueen gradually emerged as a role model within the institution. He demonstrated the qualities of responsibility and leadership, which led to his election to the Boys Council. This council was a select group responsible for setting rules and regulations that governed the lives of the boys residing at the facility. McQueen's participation in this group showcased his growing maturity and his commitment to being a positive influence on his peers. At the age of 16, Steve McQueen left the Boys Republic, ready to face the world beyond its walls. His mother had moved to Greenwich Village in New York City, and he decided to reunite with her. However, his life took another unexpected turn when he encountered two sailors from the Merchant Marine. Fascinated by the prospect of adventure and a life at sea, McQueen made the impulsive decision to sign on to a ship bound for the Dominican Republic. Once in the Dominican Republic, McQueen quickly found that life on the ship was not as glamorous as he had imagined. He soon became disenchanted with his new post and chose to abandon his duties. In a twist of fate, he ended up finding employment in a brothel, marking yet another turbulent period in his life. After his time in the Dominican Republic, Steve McQueen continued to drift from place to place, searching for his place in the world. His journey took him to Texas, where he took on various odd jobs to make ends meet. These jobs ranged from selling pens at a traveling carnival to working as a lumberjack in Canada. However, McQueen's unstable lifestyle eventually caught up with him when he was arrested for vagrancy in the Deep South. As a result of his arrest, he was sentenced to serve a 30-day assignment on a chain gang. This experience was undoubtedly a low point in McQueen's life, but it also served as a stark reminder of the hardships he had faced and the challenges he still needed to overcome. In 1947, at the age of 17, Steve McQueen sought a new path and decided to enlist in the United States Marine Corps. However, since he was not yet 18 years old, he required permission from his mother to do so. With her consent, he embarked on a journey that would introduce him to the rigorous discipline and structure of military life. McQueen's military journey began at Paris, Iceland, South Carolina, where he underwent the grueling experience of boot camp. During this intense training period, he was pushed to his physical and mental limits as drill instructors molded him into a Marine. His commitment to the Corps soon saw him rise to the rank of Private First Class, and he was assigned to an armored unit. Despite his potential, McQueen initially struggled with adapting to the strict discipline and rules of military service. His free-spirited and independent nature clashed with the regimented environment of the Marines. As a result, He faced a series of disciplinary issues that led to demotions, with McQueen being demoted to the rank of private on 7 separate occasions. One significant incident during his time in the Marine Corps involved an unauthorized absence. McQueen failed to return after a weekend pass had expired, and during this period, he spent 2 weeks with his girlfriend, Barbara Ross. His absence did not go unnoticed, and he was eventually apprehended by the Shore Patrol. However, McQueen's resistance to arrest led to even more serious consequences. Following his arrest, he was subsequently sentenced to 41 days on the bridge, which is a military prison. This experience served as a wake-up call for McQueen as he came to understand the importance of discipline and adhering to the rules and regulations of military service. After his tumultuous start in the Marine Corps, Steve McQueen made a conscious decision to redirect his energies towards self-improvement and wholeheartedly embrace the discipline that the Marines instilled in him. This transformative shift in his attitude marked a turning point in his military career. One remarkable incident during McQueen's time in the Marines showcased his newfound commitment and bravery. He played a pivotal role in saving the lives of 5 fellow Marines during an Arctic exercise. This exercise involved a precarious situation where a tank was at risk of breaking through the ice and into the freezing sea. McQueen's quick thinking and courage led him to pull his comrades from the tank just in the nick of time. This heroic act demonstrated his dedication to his fellow Marines and highlighted the remarkable personal growth he had undergone since his earlier struggles in the service. McQueen's dedication and discipline within the Marine Corps did not go unnoticed. He was assigned to the honor guard responsible for guarding the presidential yacht of U.S. President Harry S. Truman. This prestigious assignment underscored the level of trust and respect he had earned within the military ranks. Steve McQueen's service in the Marine Corps continued until 1950 when he was honorably discharged. Reflecting on his time in the military, McQueen later expressed that he had genuinely enjoyed his experience as a Marine. He recognized the profound impact it had on his life and character development. He fondly remembered this period as formative, stating, "The Marines made a man out of me. I learned how to get along with others and I had a platform to jump off of." Steve McQueen's personal life was marked by significant relationships, including his marriages and family dynamics. While still pursuing his acting career and attending Stella Adler's school in New York, McQueen dated actress Gia Scala. Their relationship was part of his life during a crucial period of his career development as he honed his acting skills in New York City. On November 2, 1956, Steve McQueen married Filipino actress and dancer Neil Adams. Their union resulted in the birth of a daughter, Terry Leslie, on June 5, 1959. Tragically, Terry Leslie passed away on March 19, 1998. Their second child, a son named Chad, was born on December 28, 1960. McQueen and Adams formed a family, and for a time they appeared to be a happy couple. However, their marriage encountered difficulties, and the couple eventually divorced in 1972. Neil Adams later revealed in her autobiography, titled My Husband, My Friend, that their marriage had reached a breaking point, and she had an abortion in 1971 when their relationship was already on shaky ground. This revelation shed light on the challenges and complexities within their marriage. Despite the ups and downs in his personal life, Steve McQueen's legacy continued through his family. Notably, one of McQueen's 4 grandchildren is actor Stephen R. McQueen, known for his roles in popular TV series like The Vampire Diaries, where he played Jeremy Gilbert, and Chicago Fire, where he portrayed Jimmy Borelli. Around 1959, McQueen was linked romantically to actress and sex symbol Mamie Van Doren. She claimed that she had an affair with him during this period, and they reportedly experimented with hallucinogenic drugs together. Their relationship added to McQueen's reputation as a Hollywood heartthrob and a leading man who attracted attention both on and off the screen. In the early 1960s, McQueen's romantic life continued to be the subject of speculation and fascination. Actress and model Lauren Hutton revealed that she too had an affair with McQueen during this period. These relationships with high-profile women in the entertainment industry further solidified McQueen's image as a charismatic and desirable figure in Hollywood. During the early 1970s, while separated from his wife Nyla Adams, McQueen became involved with Barbara Lee, his co-star in the film Junior Bonner. This relationship eventually led to Lee becoming pregnant and she had an abortion. This episode was a challenging and emotionally charged time in McQueen's life, reflecting the complexities of his personal relationships during that era. In 1973, in Cheyenne, Wyoming, Steve McQueen married actress Ali MacGraw, his co-star in the film The Getaway. Despite the public attention and media scrutiny that came with their union, their marriage was not without its difficulties. Tragically, McGraw suffered a miscarriage during their marriage, which was undoubtedly a painful experience for both of them. Some close friends and insiders claim that Ali McGraw was the one true love of McQueen's life and that he was deeply and passionately in love with her until the day he died. This assertion highlights the profound impact McGraw had on McQueen, and their relationship remained a significant chapter in his romantic history. In 1973, Steve McQueen played a solemn role as one of the pallbearers at the funeral of legendary martial artist and actor Bruce Lee. This significant event demonstrated McQueen's connections within the entertainment industry and his respect for Bruce Lee's contributions to cinema and martial arts. He joined a group of pallbearers that included other notable figures like James Coburn, Bruce Lee's brother Robert Lee, Peter Chin, Dan Inosanto, and Taki Kimura. Among McQueen's many friendships in Hollywood, one of the most enduring was his relationship with fellow actor James Garner. Their bond was strengthened by a shared passion for racing. Both McQueen and Garner lived near each other, and their friendship was marked by a playful rivalry. McQueen recalled their dynamic humorously, saying, "I could see that Jim was neat around his place, flowers trimmed, no papers in the yard, grass always cut. So to piss him off, I'd start lobbing empty beer cans down the hill into his driveway. He'd have his drive all spick and span when he left the house, then get home to find all these empty cans. Took him a long time to figure out it was me." Their light-hearted pranks were a testament to the camaraderie they shared as friends. On January 16, 1980, less than a year before his untimely death, Steve McQueen married model Barbara Minty. This marked the final chapter in McQueen's romantic life. In her book Steve McQueen, The Last Mile, Barbara Minty provided insight into McQueen's spiritual journey during his last years. She revealed that McQueen had embraced evangelical Christianity toward the end of his life, which was a significant transformation. This shift in faith was influenced by his flying instructor, Sammy Mason, as well as Mason's son, Pete, and Barbara herself. As part of his newfound faith, McQueen became an active member of his local church, Ventura Missionary Church, and his spiritual commitment was further confirmed when he was visited by renowned evangelist Billy Graham shortly before his passing. In early 1978, Steve McQueen began experiencing a persistent cough, a troubling symptom that raised concerns about his health. Recognizing the potential risks to his well-being, he took the first significant step towards improving his health by quitting smoking. However, despite giving up cigarettes and undergoing antibiotic treatments, his condition did not show any signs of improvement. As time went on, McQueen's shortness of breath became increasingly pronounced, and his overall health continued to deteriorate. It wasn't until December 22, 1979, after completing filming for The Hunter, that the underlying cause of his health issues was finally identified. A biopsy revealed that McQueen was suffering from pleural mesothelioma, a rare and aggressive form of cancer that affects the lining of the lungs, often linked to exposure to asbestos. This diagnosis was a devastating blow, as there was no known cure for pleural mesothelioma at the time. Shortly after receiving his diagnosis, McQueen gave a medical interview in which he openly discussed the factors he believed contributed to his condition. He attributed his illness to asbestos exposure, shedding light on potential sources of this exposure. While he acknowledged that asbestos used in movie soundstage insulation and race drivers' protective suits and helmets could have played a role, he considered it more likely that his massive exposure occurred during his time in the United States Marine Corps. McQueen pointed to his military service as the most probable source of his asbestos exposure. Specifically, he mentioned that he had been involved in the removal of asbestos-lagging insulation from pipes aboard a troop ship during his time in the Marines. This revelation highlighted the risks associated with certain military duties and further underscored the importance of raising awareness about the hazards of asbestos exposure. By February 1980, Steve McQueen's health had taken a dire turn, as evidence of widespread metastasis was discovered. He initially tried to keep the extent of his condition a closely guarded secret, likely hoping to maintain his privacy during this difficult time. However, on March 11, 1980, the National Enquirer broke the news that he had terminal cancer. This revelation marked a turning point, as it brought the public's attention to McQueen's health struggle. Facing a grim prognosis from U.S. doctors, McQueen decided to explore unconventional treatment options to prolong his life. In July 1980, he traveled to Rosarito Beach, Mexico, in search of alternative therapies after being informed that conventional medicine offered no hope. Controversy surrounded McQueen's decision to seek treatment in Mexico. he turned to William Donald Kelly, who promoted a variation of the Gerson therapy. This alternative approach included unconventional treatments such as coffee enemas, frequent hair washing with special shampoos, daily injections of fluids containing live cells from cattle and sheep, massages, and the use of Laetrile, a purported anti-cancer drug available in Mexico. However, Laetrile has long been known to be both toxic and ineffective in treating cancer. During his 3-month stay in Mexico, McQueen paid for Kelly's treatments with cash payments which were reported to be upwards of $40,000 per month, equivalent to approximately $142,000 in 2022. Kelly's medical background was a subject of controversy, as his only related license had been in orthodontics, a field of dentistry. This raised questions about the legitimacy of the treatments McQueen was receiving. News of McQueen's choice of treatment and his association with William Donald Kelly created a sensation in both the traditional and tabloid press. The public's fascination with McQueen's battle against cancer and his unconventional approach to treatment drew widespread attention and sparked debates about the efficacy and ethics of alternative cancer therapies. In early October, after his stay in Mexico seeking unconventional treatment, Steve McQueen returned to the United States. Despite the widespread metastasis of cancer throughout his body, William Donald Kelly publicly proclaimed that McQueen would experience a complete cure and could resume a normal life. However, McQueen's condition took a rapid and devastating turn for the worse. As his battle against cancer continued, McQueen began experiencing the growth of massive tumors in his abdomen, a clear indication of the severity of his illness. These tumors posed a significant threat to his already fragile health. In late October 1980, McQueen made a fateful decision to fly to Ciudad Juárez, Chihuahua, Mexico for a risky and unconventional surgical procedure. He sought to have a massive abdominal tumor, which weighed approximately 5 pounds, removed. This choice was made despite strong warnings from his U.S. doctors, who believed that the tumor was inoperable and that his heart could not withstand the surgery. In an attempt to maintain privacy during his medical treatment, McQueen used the alias Samuel Shepard when checking into a small clinic in Juarez. The medical staff at this facility were unaware of his true identity, allowing him to keep a low profile as he faced this critical surgery. Tragically, on November 7, 1980, Steve McQueen's battle with cancer came to an end. He passed away at 3:45 a.m. at a Juarez hospital, just 12 hours after undergoing surgery to remove or reduce numerous metastatic tumors in his neck and abdomen. The exact cause of death was a heart attack, which was a consequence of the severe strain placed on his already weakened heart during the operation. McQueen was 50 years old at the time of his passing. According to reports from the El Paso Times, Steve McQueen died peacefully in his sleep. His passing marked the conclusion of a courageous battle against pleural mesothelioma, a disease that had taken a heavy toll on his health and had garnered significant attention in the public eye. Leonard DeWitt, the pastor of the Ventura Missionary Church, presided over McQueen's memorial service, reflecting the actor's spiritual journey in his final years. Following his death, McQueen was cremated, and his ashes were spread in the Pacific Ocean, allowing him to find his final resting place in the vast expanse of the sea he had so often admired during his lifetime. Steve McQueen's passing marked the end of an era in Hollywood and left a lasting legacy in the world of film and entertainment. What do you think about Steve McQueen's tragic life? Leave us your comments in the section below. We hope you have found this helpful video. Don't forget to leave a like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you like it. Thank you for watching this and see you in the next video.